You were listening to Barking Up a Dead Horse. My name is Tom Batchelder. Welcome to our webinar and coaching series. What you can expect from this series and from me is we want to be interactive and have some fun. We're going to give you a number of very tangible tips and tools, and you're also on the site going to have access to things that you can actually cut and paste and apply in real time. I am going to challenge some of your conventional thinking, so giving you some new ways to look at and think about your thoughts, your words, and also your process for engaging new prospects or clients, and actually give you some very practical examples that you can use. For the most part, we're looking for a more human approach to sales. We're also going to give you some tips and tools and really begin to have a meaningful dialogue. So with your team, with your peers, or with your coach, begin to think about and talk about these things that will help you close more of the right kinds of business quicker. We're not going to be doing any kind of heavy walking on coals, group hugs, high fives. I'm not going to be telling you about how awesome I am and all of my relationships with famous people. We're really going to kind of be practical. I'm going to challenge you and give you some real specific things to do. We're not going to be doing a lot of entertaining here, so hopefully that won't be too upsetting for you. I also don't have any kind of quick fix magic fairy dust here. These are things that you can apply over time to create some shifts and some changes and some different results. And this kind of stuff does not, it's not going to make a difference in the first hour. You have to apply this over a period of time and give this a chance to work. So we're going to cover a brief overview of our sales approach. We're going to cover a 5-question brief assessment and also talk about what's next. My name is Tom Batchelder. I am a serial entrepreneur. I've run a number of small companies to varying degrees of success and failure. Over the last 10 years, I have been specifically running a sales coaching organization, doing speaking, training, coaching, and consulting with growth-oriented professional services and technology organizations, primarily helping them to build a better sales culture and also blend the effects of more effective psychology around selling with also a more effective approach to the sales process. Wrote a book called Barking Up a Dead Horse, which is obviously a mixed metaphor for barking up wrong trees and beating dead horses. I had an old boss that used to always mix his metaphors, and so he inspired the title. He would also say things like, "Tom, listen, we're going to burn that bridge when we get to it." Or he would say, one of my favorites was, he would say, "We need to seize the bull by the moment." So my old boss was the inspiration for the book title. I found all kinds of ways in my consulting and also in my experience in the last 25 years selling that we all waste time and effort. I'm interested in finding ways to be much more effective and much more efficient, stop banging our head against the wall, find much more of the right kind of business quicker. Proficiency is a made-up word. You're going to see that word a lot. That's the company name. It's actually a hybrid word based on performance, efficiency, and effectiveness. Oftentimes folks think that I've misspelled it, so I just want to let you know that so you're not distracted by that. I have a personal mission to help 1 million kids to have parents that have passion and purpose at work and at home, especially for the folks that I work with within the sales dynamic. Is so often we're thinking about things, we're worried about things, we're banging our head against the wall, we're waiting to hear back from a prospect, we're following along with an RFP process that's taken forever and then we don't hear back. All of those things, in my experience, really impact our life. It impacts how you're showing up at home, it impacts how you like your job, it impacts how much money you make, and all of those things impact our children. As the father of a couple of small kids, I'm interested in finding ways in our professional life that actually can have a positive impact with how we also show up at home. And to get the most out of this content, you got to use it over and over. Taking this one bite-sized chunk at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself with having to go through all of these and apply all of this. Take a couple of little things every day or every week and keep working on this over time. This is not a quick fix. One of my most clear and simple organizing models is what I call little v, big V. So often when we're selling, we put our prospect and our client in what I call a one-up position and put ourselves in a one-down position. So the V stands for value, that somehow we have less value than them. We need their money, we need their work, therefore we'll follow along, we'll chase them around, we'll beg and plead. Typically, one of the things we do is we show up in those ways that are really unattractive. All of us have had experience dating. I see sales in many ways just like dating. And when anyone shows up with you in the little v position, it's not attractive, it isn't compelling, and you quickly lose interest. I'm interested in ways with our thinking and our language and our process that we can do a better job showing up as equal V. We have unique value, they have particular needs, let's have a conversation and see if we have a fit. And if we do, great. And if we don't, that's also totally fine. One of the second organizing principles that you're going to see throughout all this within the context of all these modules is clean, compel, and control. So the first piece is cleaning out your pipeline, being much clearer about who is or isn't a prospect, getting folks that are ignoring you to either re-engage or for you to close the loop on them and move on. So we're going to work on cleaning up your pipeline. The second piece there is, well, once you clean up your pipeline, oftentimes people get freaked out. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't have enough business going on. I need to make some more things happen. So finding ways to be more effective and compelling in your outreach, to get much better response rates, be much more clear and compelling about how you talk about your unique value. And then finally, as a part of the process, once we've engaged enough people in conversation, I want to find ways to help us better control the sales process. So often we just default to our prospects and clients and follow along with their process and do whatever they want us to do whenever they want it. So I'm going to give you some tips and some tools to more effectively control the process, keep the sales cycle a little bit shorter, and waste a lot less time chasing things around. I like this quote by Kierkegaard around a mirror has the quality of enabling a man to see his image in it, but for this he must stand still. So often in sales we're moving so quickly that we forget to stop and reflect. This particular assessment is really simple. Use this for yourself or your team. Answer each of these. You can think about it now, and you'll also be able to print this up from the site, and you can work on it with yourself and with your team. Number one, answer on a scale of 1 to 5. So 1 is very true, we have or I have mastered this. 5 is not true, I do or we do struggle with this. So the first one is systematic and consistent about our process for finding and developing new business. Second one is working on the right size accounts. Third one is being able to quickly and compellingly talk about our value. The fourth, having no trouble getting to all the true decision makers. And the final one, not getting stuck with deals that have stalled. So all of the folks that I work with who are either sales professionals or who are in some way, shape, or form responsible for business development can typically relate to all of these. Now, you're pretty good at some of these, and probably you're pretty bad at a few of these too. So be really honest, answer these 1 to 5. Again, once you go back to the website, you can also print this up and think about it and talk about it in more detail. We're going to work on all of these things in these modules coming up. So cut and paste the assessment, as I mentioned. Any questions you have for me, you have my email address. I'll be reminding you of that all the time. And we're going to get started and launch into it.